Sins of a Solar Empire 2 versus Stellaris. What do they have in common? What sets them apart? What does one have that another one doesn't have? That's what I plan to look at in this video. Both games use colonized planets as the backbone of their economy. In Sins 2, you can bring up a list by clicking on the colonized planets icon. This lists all your planets. If you have logistics, you can build things like another military research station. Defense, you can build things like Gauss defense platform, autocannon defense platform, star bases, and even go to the surface of each planet and you can increase the research. You can build planet items such as orbital mining control. You can select from like a geothermal smelter, fulfillment warehouse, orbital mining control, economy, defense, support. In Stellaris, your planets are listed in the outliner on the right hand side of the screen. Clicking on one of them brings up the planet management screen. Here you can do things like build districts if you had the room. You can build buildings if you have available slots. The more buildings you have, the higher your population capacity. You get detailed stats here. Features here, if there's something that's blocking your district, you can have it cleared if you've done the research to clear it with. You can also set the planet's specialty. This one specializes in factory world, but there are other options like an urban world, mining world, agri world. Kind of depends on how many districts you have in what areas. Like I've had a lot of mining districts, I probably set it as a mining world. Planet automation. This can be turned on or turned off completely. You can also turn off and on individual settings if you want to. You can also make the same setting for all your planets at once. More detailed stats up here in this area. Planet stability, current population, crime, a few other things. You've got a population tab. This gives you a breakdown of the pops that you have, whether they're growing or declining. Gives you a breakdown of the jobs, rulers, specialists, workers. Clicking on the armies tab, this is where you can recruit armies if you want to. And this shows you what armies you have to defend this planet. And the holdings tab is that's from the Overlord expansion. Both games use maps. In Sins 2, there's 4 map sizes: small, medium for 3 to 5 players, large 6 to 8 players, and huge 9 to 10 players. And there's a decent amount of maps that you can use here. Get a breakdown of what they're about over here. You can go on to set up the game, and you can choose your AI. You can also choose who you want. You can also set the difficulty of each AI individually. You can also set the type of AI it is, like aggressive, defensive, or random. There's also some settings you can make in Sins 2. You can orbiting planets, a couple of victory conditions, and a few game settings like game speed and ship speed, income rates. Stellaris also makes use of maps. It's got a tiny, small, medium, large, and huge. You can also set the type of map you want. You can set the number of AI players you want. Fallen empires. It's got quite a few more settings. You can choose your victory year, end game start year, difficulty level, going over from ensign to captain, commodore to admiral to grand admiral. Unlike Sins 2, you can't set the difficulty level for each individual AI. They're all the same. But a lot of settings here. The only thing lacking in Stellaris that Sins 2 has is victory conditions. Stellaris only has one victory condition, that's the game score. Sins 2 has 6 playable factions: the TEC Enclave, TEC Primary, Advent Reborn, Advent Wrath, Visari Exodus, and Visari Alliance. To make the comparison a little more fair, I've disabled all my DLC. So the basic version of Stellaris has 10 playable factions: Commonwealth of Man, Borg commonality. Anyway, these are also customizable. You have all these items you can customize on the civilization. Whereas in Sins 2, the civilizations are not customizable. Both games have research. In Sins of a Solar Empire 2, there's two forms. You've got military and you've got civilian. These can both be researched at the same time. So clicking on one of them brings up the list. This is expanded view. Research in Sins 2 is done in tiers. You use a certain amount of research stations to unlock each tier. This one takes 25, I remember. This one takes 15. Once you've got something researched, it's outlined in gold. If it hasn't been researched, it's not outlined in gold, plus it'll give you an idea what you're waiting on, like this one's waiting on an exotic. Military research has 4 branches. Civilian research, on the other hand, only has 3 branches: industry, annexation, and policy. You can also collapse the view if you want to. If you're familiar with the Sins Rebellion forum, this looks a lot like it. In Sins 2, you've got a laid out path for your research. So if I want heavy trade escorts, I know I have to follow this path to get it. Stellaris has 3 branches of research: physics, society, engineering. You can also appoint a head of research to give you buffs to research. This guy provides a research speed bonus of 2%. When you want to select research, you get a list, a minimum of 3. Unlike Sins 2 and most other games, you don't get a technology tree, you just get a list, and what happens next, you're not sure. Sometimes some of these will reappear again on the next go around, and some of them won't. You'll get new ones. Also, if you want to see what you've researched, you click here. Here you can see like the physics, society, and engineering. Both games utilize diplomacy. In Sins, you get diplomacy by clicking on this icon. I've already got one proposal out. To make another one, I would select this faction that I want to make a proposal to, open a diplomatic offer, and propose a ceasefire. I can offer them credits. I can offer them metal. I can ask for things like exotics, and I click create offer. In a short amount of time, they will tell me whether they accept the proposal or not. You get to diplomacy in Stellaris by clicking on the contacts icon, and there the diplomacy screen button is located. First, you select the empire you want to negotiate with or have diplomacy with, then click the diplomacy button. You get some good information down here. You get a list of what you can do. You can improve relations, manage spy network, harm relations, offer trade deals, recall an embassy if you've already got one established. If you offer a trade deal, you can do things like offer resources, and you can ask for things like, I don't know, whatever, volatile moles. Say I want to exchange 2 of those for a volatile mole, and this has got to at least be 1 before they'll accept the proposal. Otherwise, they'll reject it. That's the diplomacy screen in Stellaris. I guess that's enough comparing the similarities between the 2 games. So what does one game have the other one doesn't? Well, in Sins 2, you've got orbiting planets, future orbits. Makes strategizing a little more complicated. In Sins 2, you can choose your opponent if you want to. You can also set the difficulty level of the AI for each AI player. You can also determine its stance, aggressive or defensive or random. What's different about Stellaris is you have a situation log. Here you have missions that you can fulfill or debris you can research for research points. In Stellaris, you also have espionage with various missions your spies can perform. You also have leaders in Stellaris: Grand Marshals, commanders, scientists, officials. Lots of leaders available. I realize this is a pretty high overview of both games. Didn't go into a whole lot of detail. So which game would I recommend? Well, that depends on what you're looking for. If you want a game that's deep with a lot of interacting systems, takes a while to play, then Stellaris is the game for you. If you're looking for a game that gets you into the action quickly, doesn't take quite as much brain power to play, then Sins 2 is the game for you. And to be honest, I love both games. It's a nice switch going from one to another. So that's pretty much my comparison of the two games. So this is Rich from Lord of Strategy Games. I'll see you later. Bye.